There is a big change that is coming to Nigerian electoral system. Let us believe that it is going to be possible. Before we go into the main video, I think it is necessary for me to highlight the work of the ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo, somebody like Femi Falana, somebody like Mr. Peter Obi. These people and other stakeholders in Nigeria, they are really resisting the Tinubu-led APC government. Yes, they are resisting them because they have disagreed and also opposed so many things that are going wrong in Nigeria and some things that have gone wrong, like the way the judiciary is passing judgment and the way the Tinubu-led APC government is trying to make things difficult for Nigerians. So I think it is a good thing. That is the role of stakeholders, that when things are going wrong, you speak out and you come out to state how it's supposed to be. So I think it is important we appreciate them. So what is going on in Nigeria and what is the good news all about? If everything works out well, by 2027, people in diaspora are going to vote. They are going to participate in the election. I think it is a new development. But not only that, follow this video to the end and find out the new development coming to the Nigerians electoral system.
Sir, how do you expect to solve the country's economic crisis?
We will definitely be a transformative government. We will work hard to change the economic crisis.
Ahead of the 2027 elections, the Senate is set to amend the Electoral Act to allow for diaspora voting, at least for presidential elections, to enable citizens, especially those on essential service abroad, to vote. The Senate, in a communique issued at the end of the retreat in Ikpene, Akwa Ibom State, also resolved to make electronic transmission of results mandatory from the next general elections in 2027, including the uploading of polling unit level result and result sheets used at different levels of result condition. On Sunday, our news correspondent reports that in event presidents and after the election that brought President Bola Tinubu into power, there were a lot of agitations to allow Nigerians abroad to take part of the elections. Also, a number of Nigerians called for the electronic transmission of results from Beaver's machine. The Senate noted that it was necessary for the Independent National Electoral Commission to be unbundled to prove its efficiency and effectiveness in the preparation and conduct of elections. The communique stated, relating to the use of technology in elections, remove the ambiguity evident in section 64 of the EA 22. Also make electronic transmission of result mandatory from the next elections in 2027. Including the uploading of polling unit level results and result sheets used at different levels of result condition. Introduce diaspora voting, at least for presidential elections, to enable citizens to vote, especially those on essential service abroad, such as military, paramilitary, and other security personnel abroad, embassy staff, and other citizens as well. Relating to political parties, stipulate sanctions for failure to submit the register of party members not later than 30 days before the date of the party primaries, Congress, or conventions in relation to Section 77.3 EA22, which the political parties have observed in the breach in the 2023 elections without penalty. The 10th Senate further noted that it was time to develop and enact a comprehensive national security strategy that outlines the nation's security objectives, threats, and policy priorities. The Red Chamber added that such a strategy could serve as a guiding framework for legislative actions in the security sector. When the Electoral Act of 2022 was passed into law by then government of Muhammadu Buhari, every Nigerian believed and we thought that electronic transmission of election results direct to the IREV portal was compulsory because it was made available in the 2022 Electoral Act that INEC can transmit election results. But I have to read the Electoral Act of 2022 up to 2 times before I could understand that yes, the law stipulates that INEC should transmit election results to INEC portal, but the law did not give them the mandatory transmission Based on there are other options, like if you couldn't use the transmission of election result, you can also use the manual condition. So that was the problem. And INEC therefore now promised Nigeria that they are going to practice the electronic transmission of result. But what happens is no longer a story on that day of election when everything gone wrong. Now, Senate plans law making electronic transmission of result mandatory. This is a developing story and news. There is no doubt that the APC government, especially the independent INEC, if they are dependent or independent, I don't really know, but the INEC and the judiciary have received the backlash of their life. They have received criticism. They have received everything that an organization could receive because of the manner in which they handled the 2023 election and the court proceedings that came out of the election respectively. Now, Senate, under the leadership of Godswill Akpabio, said that they are planning to make the electronic transmission of result mandatory. First of all, for them not to make this electronic transmission of result mandatory last year is an indication that the Electoral Act is not a new thing, because if after the Electoral Act of 2022 we still go back to the then a normal condition of result where rigging will take place, meaning the electronic transmission of result in the Electoral Act is just for nothing. But I'm happy as Senate now plan how to make it mandatory. And that is what Nigerians thought, that it was mandatory. And if the law have made it mandatory, INEC wouldn't have succeeded in everything they did. However, Nigerians are very smart. They always have their way to manipulate things. But it is more difficult to manipulate the electronic transmission of result if it could be made mandatorily.
Don't ever believe that a politician is a leader. Don't ever believe that. Because the system that we have produces politicians. It doesn't produce leaders. And so you can have a politician who knows nothing about leadership, and he's leading you. Politicians are concerned about the next election. That's all they're interested in. That's why they cannot be leaders. But leaders are different. Leaders are concerned about the next generation. I want you to compare those two thoughts the next time you have a politician come to your house wanting to vie for your vote. Just ask him, what is your vision for my children? I will sit and listen for 20 minutes for you to tell me what it is. He will leave your house because he has no interest in your children's children. His concern is to stay in power, to keep the position, to win the next election. This is why they cannot lead. When you are going to have a conversation with a politician, you should actually try this as a test. You, by the way, as a citizen of a community, you have a right to be seen by the mayor. Hope you know that. If you voted for a mayor, the mayor works for you. Therefore, you have a right to see him. You can make an appointment to see any public officer you voted for. Did you know that? That's your legal right. If he don't want to see you, you can take him to court. That's democracy. So I want you to make an appointment to go and see your mayor or go and see your governor and just sit and say, I want 30 minutes with you, sir. And ask him about that list right there. Sir, what is your purpose for being in leadership in this city? What is your purpose? The first question will make him very nervous. Second question, what is your passion for our community? He'll be wondering what you're talking about. What are you talking about? I just want to build roads and bridges and provide jobs. No. What is your passion? And this is why we need to question the leaders we have. And so I have a little thought here. I call it politics versus leadership. Let's talk about it for a second. Number one, politicians focus on programs, not vision. Number two, politicians priority is securing the next election, not securing the next generation. Their focus is different. Number three, politicians are preoccupied with promises, not purpose. What we need is statesmen, stateswomen. We don't need more politicians. A statesman is an interesting human. A statesman think of the next generation.